I don't know what to do with all the love. This is what Brian, a terminal cancer patient, told me the first time I met him as he was processing what his diagnosis meant. He had a cancer that had already killed at least 2 close family members, including his brother. In the wake of the diagnosis and ensuing illness, Brian sought to reconnect with the faith of his childhood. He had grown up in an Anglican tradition, and so it was to that he turned when he needed to face his own mortality, far too young. It was an emotional process through the possibility of treatment to the realization that palliative care was the best option to live as well as possible for as long as possible, with medical care focused on comfort rather than cure. As friends and families, neighbors, and colleagues learned of his illness, Brian was showered with visits and cards, food and calls and emails. People told him how much he meant to them, how he had impacted their lives. And as a not-for-profit fund developer, he was reminded of the enormous contribution he had made to the world. In other words, Brian was showered with love, anointed with love by those closest to him and by those he hadn't heard from in years. I don't know what to do with all the love, he told me. What a problem to have. A problem perhaps to help counterbalance the much worse problem. This new good problem could help give his troubled soul strength and courage to face the reality of his impending death. When Jesus suspected that his hour drew nigh and the reality of his impending death was close, Jesus too sought the company, the love of good, close friends. Jesus knew that the miracle of raising Lazarus from the dead did not go unnoticed, not by those who drew near because of it, and not by those who were threatened by it. So Jesus goes to the home of Lazarus that Lazarus shares with his sisters, Martha and Mary. And during dinner, Mary offers Jesus a sign, a sacrament of love. She anoints Jesus' feet with costly oil. It's an act of healing because it simultaneously acknowledges the difficulty of the impending death and incarnates her love and comfort for the terrible journey. It is no wonder that one at the table protests. When the reality of death, of loss, pain, or betrayal is acknowledged, someone will always protest. Denial is powerful. Someone will push back. When Peter protests Jesus' prediction of his demise, for instance, Jesus cries, "Get behind me, Satan." Today, it's Judas Iscariot who reveals his own struggle and guilt with his critique of a love so strong and courageous, it can even face death. Why was this perfume not sold for 300 denarii and the money given to the poor? Pretty great argument. Judas knows what button to push. Appeal to charity. Support the most vulnerable who Jesus has consistently spoken up for. What a cunning diversionary tactic. But it misses the point entirely, and Jesus has none of it. "Leave her alone," Jesus responds. "She bought it so that she might keep it for the day of my burial." And there it is, reality laid bare, uncomfortable, distressing truth. You always have the poor with you. You do not always have me. Mary cannot singularly change the machinations of an empire determined to destroy Jesus. What she can do is offer Jesus the grace of acknowledging the difficult reality, being with him in it, and offering a gift, a sacrament of love for him to take with him. Likewise, nobody could take away Brian's pain, uncertainty, anger of knowing that the cancer that killed his brother would kill him too. I saw those who loved him the most, who desperately wanted to take it away. They're the ones who called me, hoping, I suspect, that as a woman of God, I could take it away. But I can't cure cancer any better than they, any better than you. And I can't take away hard feelings. I can, however, bear witness to the love that Brian struggled to understand. And in doing so, share in that struggle. And more importantly, I could name the love that his dearest ones and his long ago colleagues showered upon him, that they expressed the love of God incarnate. This week, we walk with Jesus from the joy of the palms. Do you remember your line? Joy of the palms to the joy of resurrection coming next Sunday. But in between, we take a walk, a journey down the dark road of betrayal, suffering, and death. And I wonder what that means for you this year, to take this journey with Jesus in the good company of others. Back on Ash Wednesday, we were marked with the sign of ashes as a symbol of our mortality and our need for the mercy and grace of forgiveness and healing. Today, you are invited to replace that cross of ash with a cross of oil of anointing for healing, as a sacrament of God's never-ending love and presence with us, even unto death. Today, you're invited to receive the same love of God in action that Mary offered Jesus.